All right, welcome in here to law number 2, which is reward. So, as both the owner and the most important employee in your business, you have to get in the habit of paying yourself every month. We see so many business owners who are even making 6 and multi-six figures that aren't paying themselves because maybe they're in a cushy financial position with a spouse working. Maybe it's been a side hustle up to this point, so they haven't wanted to quote unquote take money out of the business. But if you're going to make this a real thing, you need to pay yourself. And I want you to ask yourself for just a minute, if you were working in someone else's business, doing the stuff that you're doing right now for yours, and they were paying you what you're paying yourself right now, how long would you stick around? Be honest with yourself. If you're not paying yourself what you're worth, you're not going to want to keep pushing the business forward. This is one of the best ways to motivate yourself to make the business actually grow faster, is to pay yourself well and to be able to pay yourself based off the profitability of the business. As you make more money in the business, you get paid more. Okay, so there are 3 ways to pay yourself. First one is leftovers. Okay, so write that down in the worksheet. Leftovers. This is probably not for you. If you're watching this, I hope that you're past the leftovers point, but if you're early on in business, maybe that's where you need to focus. The leftovers method. So who is it for? Well, it's businesses that have low or very inconsistent income. And I'm going to define that as under $7,000 a month. Okay. If you're consistently under $7,000 a month, this is probably what you're going to be paying yourself. And it's really okay to stay at this level if you're running a side hustle or don't need the consistent income. Okay. If it's side hustle level, cool. Maybe we're paying ourselves leftovers. We just stay there for a while. But if you're going to be running this as a real business and this is going to be your full meal deal, you got to change how we're doing it. Okay. Leftovers method is pretty simple. Income, so you take what you make, minus your expenses, aka what you spend in the business, minus what you save for taxes, gives you your leftovers, aka what you can pay yourself. Okay. So how much should I save for taxes? Well, we're going to get into that in pretty gory detail near the end of this program as you look at the tax training. But for right now, we're going to give you a flat rate of 20% of revenue. Again, we'll derive where all this comes from and how to specify it for yourself. And if you choose to work with us in CEO Finance Academy, we'll get very specific for you and your business and your specific profitability, how much. But for now, we're going to say 20% of revenue, okay? 20% of everything that you make. So let's give an example here. And this is an oversimplification. I get it. But for example, let's say you're just barely starting and you make $2,000 a month and you have $1,000 of expenses. You're saving 20% for taxes. There's your $400. And then you have $600 left over as take-home pay. Okay, that's what the leftovers method is. Now, am I suggesting that you drain all the profits in your business? No, not necessarily. Again, oversimplification, but that's how we think about it, okay? Salary method. Now we're getting into the more stable stuff here, okay? Who should be paying the salary method? Well, businesses that are bringing in lower but still consistent cash each month. Usually, once we're in the kind of $5,000 to $7,000 a month range consistently in your business is where we can start looking at setting a kind of a firm salary and saying, okay, every month I know I can pay myself this amount. So how do we do it? Well, we pick a consistent amount that the business can afford to pay you each and every month. This is one of the number one things that people come to us to work with in CEO Finance Academy is setting up their salary and figuring out how much they should be paying themselves and specifically how, given the type of business entity that they have. But let's just say, for example, that we're making $10,000 of income in a month. We have $3,000 of expenses. We're saving our 20% or $2,000 for taxes. And so we know, okay, I can pay myself $5,000 every month. If $10,000 of income is our floor, meaning we never go below that, then we can say, cool, I know that each month I could afford a $5,000 salary, okay? Now, again, this is something that we would get into one-on-one with you based off your business in setting a salary that the business can afford, but this is the general rule, okay? So what do I know I could pay myself right now? That's the question to ask yourself. If you're in that kind of above 7 to 10K plus range in your business per month, what do you know you could afford to pay yourself right now? If you don't honestly know, because you don't know your income and expenses, then maybe it's a little bit of a wake-up call. You got to do a little bit of work to get stuff ready, okay? The third way to pay yourself is, as we would call it, the CEO method. So the CEO method is for businesses that are bringing in consistent, solid cash flow each month. I define that as somewhere around $15,000 plus a month, which gives us not only enough to pay a good salary, but to give ourselves a nice quarterly bonus as well. So here we choose a salary that you can more than comfortably live on for your own living expenses, and you get to give yourself a quarterly owner's bonus. So much fun to be able to do it this way. And yes, if you're acting as a CEO, you should be giving yourself an owner's bonus every quarter, okay? Because you're operating in your business as both the employee and the owner, you should get into the mindset of owners take owners' distributions. They take bonuses, okay? You should get into the habit of that as you make more and more income in your business. So for example, you might pay yourself a $7,000 take-home salary each month, that's post-tax, and give yourself a quarterly owner's bonus of $15K and make sure you're saving additional for your taxes. If you were to do that, that would be a take-home pay of $144,000, which if we were to include tax on top of that, you're starting to push 200K in quote unquote income there, salary there. So pretty darn cool how this stuff starts adding up. So let's look at good, better, best. Good is you pay yourself the leftovers, okay? At least you're paying yourself. Bad would be you not paying yourself or ever taking profits from the business, okay? We can't operate like that. You're not a charity, okay? Better would be you're paying a consistent salary, like we talked about. Best would be you're paying a livable salary for yourself, plus you're taking home an owner's bonus probably every quarter, okay? Some people choose to take their bonuses every month when we look at doing fancy things like S-Corps, but if you can do this and be consistent with it, man, life gets to be a lot more free. Okay, so let's check in now, and I want you to rate yourself on the worksheet from 0 to 10. How consistently do I pay myself right now from my business? 0 being I've never paid myself, 10 being I pay myself every single month, and I'm taking an owner's bonus. Okay, I want you to rate yourself right now from 0 to 10. Where are you at? And how would CEO you answer? And what would CEO you coach yourself to do? Hey, if I'm CEO Alex talking to early business owner Alex, and right now I could tell myself, a few years ago, Alex, if you were taking a consistent salary and giving yourself an owner's bonus, you'd be able to bring your wife home from working in the hospital. She wouldn't have to work anymore, and she could do whatever she wants. How does that sit with early entrepreneur Alex, who didn't know how to pay himself, wasn't willing to, and wasn't making the money to at that point? Wow, I could level up and I could be paying myself consistently. My wife could come home and my life would look a lot different. I want that. Cool. Put that in your mind right now as we're thinking through this. Okay. So check in. What do you want your monthly salary to be within the next 3 months? I want you to think about that. What salary would I want to be paying myself over the next 3 months? This is not the end all 5 years from now, what do you want to be making? No, reasonably over the next 3 months, you can influence what happens over the next 3 months very directly. So what salary do you want? Okay. That's the starting point for CEO Finance Academies. We make people dial in a very specific number of where they want their salary to be. And then we reverse engineer how to get there together. Okay. That ends it for law number 2. Go through, fill out the worksheet, and we'll see you in the next video.